Think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists, but they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years.
Democrats and the media are now unloading all their nasty attacks on rising Trump White House star and new press secretary, Karoline Leavitt.
This could be the most shocking legal drama to ever hit daytime television. A lawsuit so massive, it's threatening to tear apart a legendary network show. Rising political star Karoline Leavitt is now at the center of a legal storm that has left the ladies of The View scrambling to survive. After launching a wave of on-air mockery and personal attacks, the co-hosts of The View are facing the consequences of their words, and they are huge. Karoline has struck back with force, unleashing an $800 million lawsuit that is shaking the entertainment world to its core. Behind the scenes, panic is spreading like wildfire as Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and Sunny Hostin reportedly plead with Karoline to drop the lawsuit before it's too late. This isn't just media drama. It's a full-scale crisis for The View, and the stakes couldn't be higher. It all began when The View aired a segment mocking Karoline's political beliefs, downplaying her success, and throwing around cutting remarks without holding back. But Karoline didn't ignore the insults. She responded with a legal threat so powerful, it sent shockwaves through the show's production offices. The lawsuit claims that the show used slander and falsehoods to damage Karoline's name, her credibility, and her future in politics. Now the hosts who laughed on air are reportedly the ones in fear, watching their empire teeter on the edge of collapse.
This morning, ABC News suspending Whoopi Goldberg for 2 weeks. ABC News President Kim Godwin saying in a statement, effective immediately, I am suspending Whoopi Goldberg for 2 weeks for her wrong and hurtful comments. While Whoopi has apologized, I've asked her to take time to reflect and learn about the impact of her comments.
Now, words matter, and mine are no exception. I regret my comments, as I said.
Voters do not agree with these despicable women on The View. They are wildly out of touch with the vast majority of Americans, and frankly, they should seek immediate help.
One insider revealed they thought Karoline would let it slide, but she's taking this all the way to court. Joy Behar, known for her unfiltered commentary, is now reportedly worried sick about the financial and professional fallout. Whoopi Goldberg, who has faced backlash in the past for controversial remarks, is said to be working behind the scenes to cool tensions. Sunny Hostin, normally confident and sharp, is allegedly in a state of panic over the idea that she could be held personally liable. This isn't just a headline, it's a turning point in the relationship between media power and political accountability. Karoline's lawsuit lays out a bold case, accusing The View of systematically targeting her with damaging rhetoric disguised as daytime banter. She says the show has a disturbing pattern of attacking conservative women while protecting their own. And the lawsuit doesn't hold back. It's demanding a massive $800 million in damages, a sum that could wreck the show's finances forever. ABC executives are reportedly in meltdown mode, terrified of losing sponsors and loyal viewers over this growing controversy. Now, in a twist no one saw coming, the hosts are allegedly making personal appeals to Karoline, hoping to settle things quietly and make the disaster go away. Behind closed doors, the atmosphere is tense and chaotic. Reports say the show's producers are now urging the hosts to stay silent publicly, afraid that any new comment might worsen the situation. But silence isn't stopping the storm from growing. Viewers across the country are calling out what they see as clear hypocrisy, questioning how a show that claims to support women could tear down another so viciously. One viral post summed up the public's frustration, saying, "The View supports women, unless they're conservative." The message caught fire online and has been shared thousands of times,
Sonny, you have a legal note.
I do have a legal note. Thank you, Whoopi. Matt Gaetz has long denied all allegations, calling the claims, quote, invented, and saying in a statement to ABC News that this false smear following a 3-year criminal investigation should be viewed with great skepticism. That DOJ investigation was closed with no charges being brought.
We'll be right back.
Bang, Rowan, I couldn't do that at 27. No nonsense, straight to the point, courage, detail.
Karoline's supporters are rallying behind her like never before. They see her not just as a press secretary, but as a voice standing up to the media machine they believe has gone unchecked for far too long. Her legal team isn't wasting time either. They've laid out a damning case packed with specific statements from the broadcast claiming the attacks were not only personal, but malicious. Each line in the lawsuit hits harder than the last. It's a direct challenge to how media outlets use their platforms and who gets to speak without consequences. And now, the ripple effects are beginning to spread. According to insiders, several of The View's advertisers are closely monitoring the situation, wary of being associated with the controversy. Sponsors are reportedly nervous that if the lawsuit proceeds publicly, their brands could be linked to defamation and targeted bias on national television. Meanwhile, ABC's legal team is working overtime, reportedly trying to find a way to settle the matter quietly without making the network look weak or guilty. But Karoline doesn't seem interested in quietly walking away. She's already made it clear. This case isn't just about her reputation. It's about sending a message to the media at large. Her followers are cheering her on every step of the way. They say she's doing what many have only dreamed of, holding major media personalities accountable for their words. And while The View has had its share of controversy in the past, nothing has come close to this level of legal threat. Joy Behar, who once dismissed Karoline with a snide remark, is now reportedly urging her co-hosts to find a way to calm things down before the damage becomes permanent. Whoopi Goldberg, who has always spoken with confidence, is now said to be deeply unsettled, knowing the consequences of this lawsuit could follow her for the rest of her career.
So thrilled to have you with me. And you would think, ABC, having just paid $15 million for a defamation lawsuit, would think not to engage in conspiracy theories about assassination attempts, but I guess that's too much to ask from The View. I mean, I got to ask you, because they said it, are you aware of any plots from Elon Musk to push President Trump down the stairs?
I don't care if he's pooped his pants. I don't care if he can't put a sentence together. Show me he can't do the job, and then I'll say, okay, maybe it's time to go.
And Sunny Hostin, usually composed and analytical, is allegedly taking legal advice of her own, unsure whether her comments might lead to personal financial penalties. Even behind the scenes, staff at The View are feeling the pressure. Producers and writers are said to be more cautious than ever, knowing anything said on air could be used in court. There's talk that ABC might consider taking drastic measures if the case continues to escalate. Some say that even canceling the show has been floated as a worst-case option. That idea might have seemed impossible once, but with an $800 million lawsuit looming over their heads, nothing feels off the table anymore. As more documents from the case become public, the pressure is only increasing. Legal analysts are now calling it one of the most significant media lawsuits in years. Karoline's team has made it clear they will not back down without a real reckoning. And The View's desperate pleas may be far too little, far too late. More and more people are turning their attention to this case, with many saying it represents something bigger than one press secretary and a TV show. It's a cultural turning point. Karoline's firm stance is energizing a whole new wave of Americans who are tired of biased coverage and one-sided narratives dominating their screens. She's not just pushing back, she's making history, and her decision to take this battle into the courtroom is already having a massive ripple effect. Legal professionals are calling it one of the boldest challenges to a mainstream network show in recent years, and possibly the costliest. The $800 million price tag is no exaggeration. It's a calculated sum based on reputation damage, career impact, and the millions of viewers who heard those words live on air. For The View, that number is more than just a threat. It's a symbol of how far things have fallen since the show's early days. Karoline's team is moving fast, and sources say they're not interested in backdoor deals or hush money. What they want is accountability.
Most divisive and disgusting speech that any president, certainly in my lifetime, has ever given. He essentially waged war on half of the country by saying that we are all a threat to democracy because we believe in putting America first. It's not radical to want to put your country and your own people first. It's not radical to want to have a strong border, a strong military, and to unleash the might of your own economy, not economies around the world. You know, we have seen cultural Marxism trickling its way through every institution in this country. The public school system, the higher education university system, Hollywood, big tech, the corrupt mainstream media that I fought against in President Trump's White House are indoctrinating my generation of Americans into hating our country, hating one another based on race and gender and sex and all of this other BS, quite frankly.
While the hosts continue trying to fix the mess they've made, Karoline is doubling down on her mission to hold powerful media figures responsible for their words. Supporters are flooding her social media with praise, calling her brave, relentless, and someone who isn't afraid to take on the establishment. And she's not alone. Former media professionals, political commentators, and even celebrities are starting to weigh in, with many saying, "The View crossed a dangerous line." This lawsuit isn't just a warning shot. It's a full-blown statement that the days of careless media smears might finally be coming to an end. Joy, Whoopi, and Sunny may have once felt untouchable behind their studio desks, but now they're realizing that public platforms come with real responsibility. Executives at ABC are reportedly holding emergency meetings, trying to figure out how to salvage what's left of the show's brand and reputation. But the public isn't forgetting what was said or how it was said, especially when the damage was aimed at someone simply for holding different views. For years, conservative guests have claimed bias and mistreatment on the show, but this is the first time someone has fought back in a way that could financially devastate it. The headlines are everywhere now, and as the legal proceedings push forward, The View may have no choice but to publicly apologize or risk even bigger consequences. What was once a dominant voice in daytime television is now facing a credibility crisis that it may never recover from. And Karoline, she's rising faster than ever, turning controversy into conviction and walking boldly through the fire, with support growing every single day. She has shown that no matter how big the media machine may be, it's not above the law, and it can't silence those who are willing to stand and fight. Karoline's attorneys are working relentlessly, piece by piece, building a case that could redefine what free speech means on national television.
So, how you feel? I'll start. Yeah, go ahead.
My takeaway is that the system works. We live in a democracy. People spoke. This is what people wanted. I vehemently disagree with the decision that Americans made, but I feel very, very hopeful that we have a democratic system in this country. We should value it. We should love it. We should protest if the situation
What still excites you about coming to work here?
Getting paid. I do enjoy a paycheck. I'm not going to lie. But, listen, this is a place where you can come and say what you think, and as long as that is what the job is, I'm happy to be here. I just leave. I go home. I go home to my life, and I take care of my cat and do all the stuff I'm supposed to.
No longer can media figures hide behind laughter when the damage is real and lasting. What started as a single TV segment has grown into a national reckoning. Supporters of Karoline say this is about more than politics. It's about drawing a line between opinion and open character assassination. The show's once loyal fans are split. Some are shocked by how far things have gone, while others are distancing themselves from the program altogether. Ratings are dipping, and trust is vanishing faster than ever before. Behind the scenes, there's talk that executives at ABC are drafting exit strategies. If the lawsuit continues gaining ground, the damage to the network's brand could be irreversible. Former employees of The View have even begun speaking out, some anonymously, saying this type of behavior has been brewing behind closed doors for years. If true, this lawsuit may just be the tip of the iceberg. Meanwhile, Karoline continues her public duties with strength and poise. She hasn't wavered once, and the public is watching her rise from controversy to commanding respect. This case has become a turning point in how the public sees daytime television, and many are now wondering who else might face legal consequences for similar on-air behavior. It's no longer just about headlines and social media trends. This is about responsibility. It's about telling the truth without destroying someone's life in the process. The irony isn't lost on anyone. The View, a show that claimed to be a platform for women's voices, is now being accused of silencing and smearing a woman who simply disagreed with them.
Like we have seen in 2 instances against President Trump. Last week, Tim Walz and Kamala Harris said that everyone who showed up to President Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden was a Nazi. That's despicable, dangerous, divisive rhetoric that is spewed by the Democrat Party every single day.
And while Karoline's political positions remain strong, it's her courage to stand up to the biggest media bullies that's turning her into a symbol of strength across the country. Sponsors are pulling back, legal fees are mounting, and the public's faith in The View is rapidly collapsing. All because they underestimated who they were dealing with. They thought Karoline would back down. They thought she'd disappear under pressure. But instead, she became more determined, more visible, and more powerful than ever. This wasn't just about television. This was about truth versus narrative, about conviction versus cruelty. And Karoline Leavitt didn't just survive it, she owned it. Now, The View faces its harshest reality yet. Lawsuits, falling ratings, and growing calls for cancellation may very well bring the final curtain down on what was once a daytime juggernaut. In the end, the show that prided itself on giving a voice to the unheard is now being exposed for silencing those they disagree with, and the public has taken notice. Karoline's $800 million lawsuit may or may not go to trial, but one thing is undeniable. She's already won the battle of public opinion. With strength, grace, and unshakable resolve, she has changed the conversation forever, proving that no one, not even the most powerful voices on television, is above accountability. And as the final credits roll on this dramatic chapter, one message echoes louder than ever. Truth still matters, and so does the price of betrayal. This isn't just a story about one lawsuit. It's a battle over truth, accountability, and what kind of media the American public deserves. And whether the show survives or not, one thing is crystal clear. Karoline Leavitt has changed the game forever.